Never quit, ladies and gentlemen. Never quit. Never quit. I hope you still have that goal. I hope you still have those dreams. I hope life hasn't knocked the dreaming out of you. I think there's somebody in there said that the impulse to dream was beaten out of me. I hope that they didn't beat the impulse to dream out of you. I hope life has not beat you up that bad. I hope you haven't paused on your goals, on your dreams, on the things that you want to make happen, on designing your ideal life. I hope you still have excitement and energy to go after your goals. We can never quit. We can never stop. We have to continue to keep going. This is the tone of these messages. This is the tone of these calls. Life does not get easier. We get stronger or not. It's your choice. It's your choice. Nobody's coming to save you, though. If you're going through rough moments of your life, rough seasons of your life, guess what? You got to pick yourself up. That's what this group is for. That's what we're here to do. Plant a seed, give you an encouraging word to get things rolling again, to get things rolling. How gritty are you? How much perseverance do you have to never quit on the goal? Never quit on the dream. I know you might not see it just yet. It might not look like what you thought it would be. You thought you'd be there by now. You thought the business would have taken off by now. You thought the schooling would have paid off by now. You thought the job would have gotten you promoted by now. You thought the marriage would be where it's supposed to, like whatever you thought. And just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's not going to happen. The question is, are you still willing to fight for it? Do you still know what you're fighting for? And are you willing to continue to fight for it? Are you willing to continue to not give up, to not quit, even when it gets hard? Because it's at the lowest moments. I think it was E.T. in that video that said it was when you have nothing, when you're out of money, when you're out of options, when you're out of resources, when you're at the bottom, that's when things kick in for you. That's when your back is against the wall and you get a chance to find out exactly who you are, exactly what you're capable of, exactly what you're able to go off and do. You learn that in the valleys, in the low seasons, in the low moments, when you don't have all that you feel like you want to have or you need to have. That's when you learn them. So we get a reward for our pain. If you're going through painful season, if you got some painful things happening in your life, I applaud you. Great job. That means you're growing. That means you're learning. That means you're going to come out of this season better, spiritually, emotionally, mentally, financially, right? You're going to come out of this season better. You might not feel that in the midst of this season, in the midst of the pain, in the midst of the troubles of life. You might not feel it. But on the other side of it, when you come out of that, you're going to know that you've grown. You might have more patience. You might have more resilience. You might start to come out with a stronger faith. That's always a big one. When your faith gets tested, you come out stronger on the other side. If your faith never gets tested, how do you even know that you have faith, right? It has to be tested. That happens through the low moments, through the low seasons. Our text, 177 mental toughness secrets. You heard Eric Thomas say it on the back end. You got to dig deep inside and figure out why you're doing this, why you're going to keep getting back up when life throws you those haymakers, when life tries to knock you down and throw you the knockout punch. What is it that you are digging deep inside to say, man, I need to keep going. Man, I need to keep doing it. That's that internal why, that internal, I know I need to make this happen. And so it becomes an emotional motivator that you're looking for. It's not the external things, guys. It's not the external things. I know you might think there's some external things you want in your life, or you might think there's some external things that will help you in your life. But in general, it's the internal things. It's the internal things. It says here, champions are driven by emotional motivators. The masses are primarily motivated by extrinsic motivators, such as material possessions and money. The world class is motivated intrinsically by their dreams, desires, and passions. External motivation is short lived, while internal motivation is nearly impossible to exhaust until the goal is achieved. The rah rah, jump up and down motivational pep talks are fun and temporarily motivating, yet lack the real fire emotional motivators generate. World class leaders know the secret to motivating themselves and others is discovering what they will fight for when the going gets tough. Say that again. World class leaders know the secret to motivating themselves and others is discovering what they will fight for when the going gets tough. What will you fight for when the going gets tough? When it's a much harder than what you thought it was going to be? What gets you through? What are you willing to continue to fight for? It says the great ones move from logic-based motivation or logic-based motivators, to emotion-based motivators. They know the key to finding the true power of the individual lies in the deep recesses of the psyche. The process great leaders and coaches use is tedious, time-consuming, and simple. Ask questions. Don't stop until you've landed on the emotional hot buttons. World-class coaches keep digging until they hit the vein of gold, when the performer begins answering in terms of how they feel as opposed to what they think. When they hit the vein of gold, they continue to probe until the performer reaches an emotional high point known in performance circles as the white moment. The white moment is the strongest emotional driver of a performer. Coaches use emotional drivers to motivate and inspire performers to push far beyond their threshold of pain, to accomplish feats that without this level of motivation would be impossible. So that's what, without you having an external coach or somebody able to do that for you, can you pinpoint these things internally for yourself? Can you ask yourself enough of the questions of why you want something? Of why, of what it makes, what'll make you feel like if you achieve that, of who would miss out if you did not achieve certain things. If you can get to the deep recesses of your psyche, the deep recesses of why you're doing what you're doing, and just continue to hit that emotional button that gets you emotional every time you get distracted, that gets you emotional every time the going gets tough, when it gets really, really hard. Do you have something that the emotional button you can push? Because if we're only pushing a logical button, we'll talk ourselves out of it because our brain is there to keep us safe. So things that are really hard for us or things that are really uncomfortable for us, logically, we won't do because our brain knows to keep us safe. So we have to then lean into our emotional motivators. Why are we doing this? What is this making us feel? What feeling are we trying to get to? That is what pushes you past, as it says here, the threshold of pain. When you're already in pain, when you're already scrounging and clawing and saying, man, how am I going to make this happen? When you're already there, it's these emotional motivators that allow you to push past, that allow you to do one more rep, one more set in the gym, that allows you to wake up one more morning and do the thing you didn't really want to do. It's the emotional motivator. So I would challenge all of us to find that emotional motivator, not the external thing, not these calls. These calls are great. They're planting seeds. They're external. They're little motivation. They're little inspiration. There's something to get your brain moving. There's something for you to practice and hold on to and understand how to become successful in these areas. But this is external. This is not internally your button that you need to push. You got to find that button, ladies and gentlemen. You got to find that button that you can push that is the emotional motivator that's going to allow you to stay locked in even when things get hard, even when life goes haywire and throws you all types of things that you didn't see, that you didn't know you could handle, that you weren't prepared to handle, all the stuff. What pushes you through? What causes you to never quit? What causes you to never give up? Because it's so easy to give up. I heard this from a mentor a long time ago, or maybe I read this on a quote. I can't even remember. But it resonated with me. It said, most people quit everything that they do. At some point, most people quit on everything in their life. You'll quit on the diet, quit on the relationship, you quit on your dreams, quit on the job. We quit on like almost everything. You look at the average 80-year-old person, 70-some-year-old person, they don't have the same commitments that they had at 50, at 40. They quit on some of those commitments. They quit on some of their goals. They quit on the lifestyle they thought they wanted. They quit on working on their marriage. They quit on working on themselves. We quit on almost everything that we do. So if we can get to that emotional motivator, this is why the most successful people tend not to quit anything. Why they have long marriages, long businesses, long-standing partnerships. They do things for a longer period of time because they figured out the emotional motivator, the thing that drives them the most, that will cause you to not stop. It'll cause you to never want to stop because it's literally the thing that pushes you past all the pain, all the stuff that you go through. It's the emotional motivator. Once we get to that place, ladies and gentlemen, your whole life can change. Your whole life can change because now you know exactly why you're going through what you're going through. You know exactly what it's doing for you. You know exactly the areas that you're going to see improvement and that it's going to allow you to grow. So we got to tap into that. Emotional motivators. This quote by Steve Siebold says, when a performer begins to experience physical or emotional pain in the heat of battle, the brain, whose primary role is self-preservation, asks the question, why must I suffer? The champion will answer the question with the vision they've carefully constructed, and they will continue to fight. Since the masses lack this mental clarity and have no reason to suffer, they quit as soon as the pain kicks in. Developing a world-class vision is the secret to world-class motivation. If you're clear, you can use that emotional motivator, the vision of why you want what you want, to answer that question of this is why you got to go to the gym every morning. This is why you're choosing to fast. This is why you're choosing to eat this way. This is why you're choosing, right, to hold tight in your relationship. It's because there's a vision that you're going after, and that vision has an emotional connection. You have an emotional connection with that vision. It's not just something in your mind. It's not just something that you think you maybe want because you've always thought that you want that. It's the thing that you feel, that you know, that's what I'm going after. That's what my life is going to look like. That's what I'm going to experience in life. I used to say our definition of wealth. People ask, what's your definition of wealth? My definition of wealth is to fully experience all that life has to offer. The people, places, and things that God has in store for me to see. That's the definition of wealth for me. Being able to experience all that life has to offer. So if that's the vision and I'm emotionally connected to experiencing all that life has to offer, it's why when it gets tough, I'll still go to the gym, or I'll still do mindset calls, or I'll still do my personal development, or I'll still listen to sermons, or I'll still do whatever is necessary, because the vision of where I want our lives to be is a lot stronger than what I'm thinking, right? Why I'm going through what I'm going through. So we got to keep working, ladies and gentlemen. We got to get those emotional motivators down. Ask these 5 critical thinking questions. 1, what am I willing to fight for? Ask yourself that. What are you willing to fight for? What values do you hold dearest to your heart? What values are something that you hold dear to? What values would you be willing to die for? If you could achieve a single thing, what would make all the hard work worth the struggle? If there's one thing you could achieve, what would make all of this stuff worth it? And if you had 30 seconds left to live, what would you tell your children are the 3 most important lessons you learned about how to live a happy life? These are some critical thinking questions to pay attention to. Pay attention to some of those. Put this in place for yourself. It's Friday. It's the weekend. Most people go slough off on the weekend, do nothing, hang out, fun stuff. Do something that challenges you this weekend. Do something that scares you. Do something that pushes you out of your comfort zone. Do something that changes you, shifts you, right, into the best version of yourself. Do that this weekend. Don't wait until next week. Don't wait until May comes in. Let's do it now. People are depending on you to get better, y'all. They're depending on you to get these messages. They're depending on you to grow and learn. So we got to go out and do it. We can't disappoint. I love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Enjoy your Friday. It was good seeing you. We'll see you back here on Monday with another one. Take care. Talk soon.